Have you ever really thought about what happens to your phone, your coffee cup, or even your t-shirt when you're done with it? I mean, every single thing around us has a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it's that last chapter, that hidden environmental story, that we're going to unpack today. All right, let's get into it. You know, for decades, our whole economy has run on a pretty simple linear track. We take resources from the earth, we make stuff, we use it, and then we just throw it away. This whole cradle-to-grave model, it's powered our world for sure, but it's built on a massive flaw. It assumes our planet's resources are endless and our ability to absorb waste is infinite. It's basically a one-way street that leads straight to a landfill.
But what if that end point wasn't really the end at all? What if it was just the beginning of a brand new journey? Now that is the core idea of what we call a circular economy, a completely different way of thinking about how we make and use things, where the very idea of waste is designed out of the system from the get-go.
Okay, so before we can even build this kind of circular system, we need to understand the rock-solid principle it's built on. And this isn't just some nice idea. It's a deep-seated legal and ethical duty that all of society has to protect our shared environment.
What's so powerful about this is how it frames environmental protection. It's not an optional extra, it's a collective responsibility. This kind of idea, which is actually written into legal frameworks like Brazil's constitution, makes it clear that governments, companies, and all of us in the community share the duty to be caretakers of the environment, making sure it's healthy for us today and for everyone who comes after us.
So, if our shared duty is the why, then the how is a set of guiding principles that basically form the rulebook for modern responsible industry. And these aren't just suggestions, they're the real mechanisms that turn that duty into actual action.
First up is the ultimate better safe than sorry rule. The principles of precaution and prevention demand that we think ahead. This means that for any project that might cause harm, say building a new factory or creating a new chemical, we can't just cross our fingers and hope for the best. Nope, we have to do serious environmental impact assessments beforehand to figure out the risks and avoid damage before it ever has a chance to happen.
But, okay, what happens if prevention doesn't work? That's where the polluter-pays principle steps in. Now, it's really important to get this right. This is not a license to pollute as long as you can pay the bill. Not at all. It's a principle of strict accountability. It forces companies to absorb the real environmental costs of what they do, making them financially responsible for cleaning up their own mess and paying for the damage done.
And when you look at them side by side, you can see how these two principles work together like a one-two punch for protecting the environment. Prevention is your first line of defense, right? It's all about stopping harm from happening in the first place. But polluter pays is that crucial backstop, making sure that if something does go wrong, the responsibility for fixing it lands exactly where it should.
So let's take these big ideas and apply them to the life of a single product. To really get a grip on its total environmental footprint, we use a tool called a life cycle assessment, which lets us trace its journey from the very beginning to the very end.
A product's life kicks off at the cradle, where raw materials are pulled from the earth. Then it's off to the factory to be made and packaged. From there, it takes a journey, traveling to a store and finally into our homes. We use it for a while, and then, well, it reaches its grave. That's the discard phase, where we toss it out and it's sent off for disposal. And at every single one of those stages, energy is used up and environmental impacts just keep piling on.
And here's the fundamental problem with this journey. It's final. The whole cradle-to-grave model is just incredibly wasteful. It's tailor-made for a disposable culture, where products are often designed with something called planned obsolescence, They're literally built to break or go out of style, so we have to buy new ones. This straight line to the trash is what's fueling our resource shortages and our massive global waste crisis.
But this is where our story takes a really exciting turn, because we can transform that one-way street into a never-ending circular loop. We can actually design a system where products, at the end of their use, start a whole new journey, a journey home.
The engine that powers this circular journey has a name: reverse logistics. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's the mirror image of a regular supply chain. Instead of just figuring out how to get products out to people, it's all about creating smart, efficient ways to bring them back after they've been used, all so we can recapture their value.
And there are a few different ways we can recapture that value. The simplest is just reuse, right? Like refilling a glass bottle. Next, we can dismantle a complex product, like a computer, to pull out all the valuable parts. We can also remanufacture it, basically rebuilding it to be good as new. And finally, of course, there's recycling, where we break the material all the way down to create a new raw material that can be fed right back into the system.
Now, in a circular system, there's a definite order of operations, a hierarchy. The goal is always to keep materials at their highest possible value for as long as we can. Reuse is at the very top because it uses the least amount of energy. Recycling and remanufacturing are the next best things. And only when every other option is off the table should we even think about burning waste for energy, with the landfill being the absolute last resort, the thing we should always be trying to avoid.
You know, what's truly powerful about this system is that the benefits go way beyond just the environment. In many places around the world, recycling programs and reverse logistics are formalizing the work of people who used to be known as waste pickers. By setting up cooperatives, these environmental agents get stable incomes, safety gear, training, and social dignity. It transforms a really dangerous and unstable job into a vital service for the whole community and the planet.
And all of this brings us to a really critical point. This whole system, from the legal principles all the way to reverse logistics, isn't just about doing the right thing for the environment. It's a massive economic opportunity and a powerful strategy for business success in the 21st century.
For years and years, environmental rules were seen as a burden, just an extra cost of doing business. But that entire way of thinking has been completely flipped on its head. Today, the smartest, most forward-thinking companies on the planet understand that sustainability actually drives efficiency, innovation, and, yes, long-term profit.
I mean, the business case is a total slam dunk. Companies save a ton of money by using recycled materials instead of new ones, and by cutting down on disposal fees. They build a really strong brand image that connects with the growing number of consumers who care about the environment. And by relying less on brand new materials, they become more efficient and protect themselves from the crazy price swings of raw materials. It's just plain smart business.
So ultimately, it all boils down to this fundamental shift in thinking. We're moving away from a linear model of take, make, waste to a circular one of make, use, return. We stop talking about a product's end of life and start talking about its end of use in its current form, ready to start the next one. In the old model, value is destroyed. In the new one, value is preserved, over and over again.
And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. What if we just stopped seeing a pile of trash and started seeing a pile of resources? By closing the loop, we don't just protect our planet, we unlock incredible value, turning the end of one product story into the beginning of countless more.